This is Informer News, your voice of the people. Welcome along, my friends, to another edition of the Informer News monthly special report. Coming up in this month's broadcast, Planet X Nibiru and the coming apocalypse. A bizarre apocalyptic scenario. Autistic religious Jews, spiritual communications warn about the coming Nibiru event and the destruction this massive object will rain down upon Earth. Plus more warnings that Nibiru is real and heading our way. Also, university astrophysicist warns past Earth extinctions were caused by the Planet X Nibiru. And the murder of well-respected Member of Parliament Jo Cox. Was she the victim of a false flag killing? Days before the UK went to the polls to decide if to vote to remain or leave the EU. Did the global elitists order the killing? Evidence suggests just that. Okay, into this month's Informer News special report. This first report originates from BreakingIsraelNews.com, titled The Planet Nibiru and the Apocalypse by Riha Lambert Alder, and this was posted on January the 18th, 2016. A bizarre apocalyptic scenario that originated decades ago is being raised again by autistic religious Jews in Israel who reportedly communicate spiritual messages from facilitated communication. Every aspect of this story is shrouded in controversy. The original theory of Nibiru. Zachariah Sitchkin, 1920 to 2010, was a Russian-born Jewish scientist and author who suggested that there is a planet beyond Pluto called Nibiru, sometimes referred to as Planet X, which passes through our solar system every 3,600 years. Approximately 50 years ago, Sitchin determined that Nibiru was about 50 years away from coming close again. According to the theory, its anticipated reappearance is expected to result in extensive damage to Earth's land masses and death to millions. Facilitated communications controversy. The theory of celestial body called Nibiru headed towards Earth recently reappeared in the communications of three Orthodox Jewish men in Jerusalem. Daniel, Benjamin and Menachem are autistic and cannot communicate through normal means. They rely on a controversial technique known as facilitated communications, in which the autistic person is given an alphabet board or a computer keyboard to spell out words. Facilitated communications has been in use since at least 1985 as a way of communicating with those who cannot speak normally. Proponents of the technique claim that people with debilitating autism or severe mental retardation actually can communicate if given physical support to type on an alphabet board or keyboard. The Autism National Committee, an autism advocacy organization, has a policy approving of facilitated communications, which reads: facilitated communications is one accepted and valid way in which individuals with autism can exercise their right to say what they have to say. Talk about Nibiru re-emerges in Jerusalem. In the last few days of December 2015, Menachem, Daniel and Benjamin all spoke through facilitated communications about Nibiru. Together they paint a picture of apocalyptic devastation from which only the land of Israel remains unscathed. On December the 23rd, 2015, a facilitated communication session was recorded with Menachem in Jerusalem. During that session, Menachem spoke about Nibiru and introduced the idea that world leaders are preparing for the inevitable doomsday collision by preparing elaborate bunkers. Menachem said they're following this thing but not reporting on it. They went silent on the subject. They didn't speak of it further, only preparing. They started digging to make bunkers. It's a fact. And now there are bunkers also in Israel. There's one very big large bunker for the important people of the state who will leave the rest of us outside, and they'll be inside. I'll tell you a secret, if it will be this way, then woe to those who are inside, and the people who are outside, those who have trusted in Hashem God, they'll be saved. And another interesting thing I'll tell you, that they made calculations and measurements, and where is the most safest place in the world with regard to this whole event. They reached the conclusion that it's Jerusalem. The safest place is Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel, and mainly Jerusalem. This following report originates from absolutetruth613.blogspot.co.uk, titled Nibiru, Big Surprise. I had in mind to bring you a very detailed analysis that I have been researching about Nibiru. I have been paying attention to all the noise being made on the web, especially other Jewish blogs, and I decided to exercise my mission of giving Musar instead. The Hebrew term Musar is from the book of Proverbs 1:2, meaning moral conduct, instructions or discipline. At age 71 3/4, I am old enough to give Musar. There are so many opinions being presented about Nibiru that it turns my stomach to think about all the Jews and righteous non-Jews who are going to bring great suffering upon themselves and their loved ones because they are too lazy to research and live the absolute truth. Instead, there are charlatans, even rabbis, who know nothing about Nibiru, who are telling people, don't worry. They say everything from it sounds like a conspiracy theory. There is no proof of its existence. There are some that are saying it sounds like there is something to it, but it may still be a long way off. You may ask, what is the big deal if it is sooner or later, or possibly not at all? The big deal is repetition of all of Jewish history. Give lazy people a good excuse not to do teshuvah, not to turn to Hashem, not to see an immediate need to do all the commandments, and you have doomed them to treacherous suffering. In other words, is misinformation about the most important event in world history going to cause great suffering and even kill many innocent people needlessly? I know that some of you are thinking, why should we believe you as opposed to those who don't have a clue about what they are saying? The best answer is the majority of the information that I have given you about the immediacy of preparation for Nibiru is from one source, Hashem. I have given many quotes from scriptures, messages from the FC, individuals, Torah codes, pictures, and a vast amount of devastation that is already happening in the world, which is definitely due to the approach of Nibiru. These are all messages from Hashem, who absolutely knows more, infinitely more than any human source, including me. By giving you scientific proof goes in one ear and out the other. By telling you Hashem's opinion should be all you need. But lazy people who don't handle the truth well would prefer to listen to fantasy explanations they are more comfortable with, even though very dangerous later. The fact that we have been told in scriptures by FC individuals and rabbis about the prophecy of 2/3 of the world's population being destroyed and 1/3 surviving. When will that occur? Since Nibiru is encoded in the area of the prophecy, I know that Hashem has made it clear, since modern science is confirming that the tail of debris from Nibiru could wipe out most of the world's population. I would really consider listening to Hashem's messages. Of course, we don't have to wait for the tail. It is already causing a great increase in earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, crazy weather systems, and many other difficulties that I have already discussed. People are dying, and the number will increase greatly in the near future. I mentioned the Star of Jacob in the Torah and the Zohar, telling us that in the end of days a star will appear and devastate the world, and it will be followed by Moshiach. That prophecy just happened to have Nibiru encoded in it. The prophet Malachi is telling us about a star of righteousness that will heal the righteous people and wipe out the evil of the world. Nibiru just happens to be encoded in that prophecy. Daniel telling us that the status representing the evil powers of the world and how that status will be destroyed. In other words, as before, the demise of the evil 2/3 of the world population. Guess what is encoded in that prophecy? The fact that I have 414 places in Tanakh, the Jewish Bible, where Nibiru is encoded, including 105 in the Torah alone. I just need to convince you that Hashem is the only source you need to believe, and the only source to save you and your loved ones. Even if it requires much more effort on your part for now, it will save you infinite pain and suffering for eternity. To view the full transcript, go to my website, endtimes23.com. There's a live link near the end of this video. This next report originates from planetexnews.com, titled University Astrophysicist Links Mass Extinction to Planet X Nibiru, and this was posted on March the 30th, 2016. Periodic mass extinctions on Earth, as indicated in the global fossil records, could be linked to a suspected ninth planet, according to research published by a faculty member of the University of Arkansas Department of Mathematical Sciences. Daniel Whitmire, a retired professor of astrophysics, now working as a maths instructor, published findings in the January issue of Monthly Notices of the Royal Astronomical Society. Planet X triggers comet showers linked to mass extinctions on Earth at intervals of approximately 27 million years. The possibility that it's real got a big boost recently when researchers from Caltech inferred its existence based on orbital anomalies seen in objects in the Kuiper Belt, a disc-shaped region of comets and other larger bodies beyond Neptune. If the Caltech researchers are correct, Planet X is about 10 times the mass of Earth and could currently be up to 1,000 times more distant from the Sun. Whitmire and his colleagues, John Matisse, first published research on the connection between Planet X and mass extinctions in the journal Nature in 1985. Working as an astrophysicist at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, their work was featured in a 1985 Time magazine cover story titled "Did Comets Kill the Dinosaurs? A Bold New Theory About Mass Extinctions." At the time, there were three explanations proposed to explain the regular comet showers: Planet X, the existence of a sister star to the Sun, and vertical oscillation of the Sun as it orbits the galaxy. The last two ideas have subsequently been ruled out as inconsistent with the pathological records. Only Planet X remains as a viable theory, and it is now gaining renewed attention. Whitmire and Montier's theory is that as Planet X orbits the Sun, its tilted orbit slowly rotates and Planet X passes through the Kuiper Belt of comets every 27 million years, knocking comets into the inner solar system. The dislodged comets not only smash into the Earth, they also disintegrate into the inner solar system as they get nearer to the Sun, reducing the amount of sunlight that reaches the Earth. In 1985, a look at the pathological records supported the idea of regular comet showers dating back 250 million years. Newer research shows evidence such events dating as far back as 500 million years. To view the full transcript, go to my website endtimes23.com, where I've posted a link. There's a live link to my website near the end of this video. This following report originates from whatdoesitmean.com, titled "Assassins Who Killed British MP Joe Cox and Targeted Donald Trump Tied to UK Military and the CIA" by Sasha Fael, and as reported to her Western subscribers. A new Foreign Intelligence Service (SVR) report circulating in the Kremlin today is raising serious questions relating to last week's assassination of British Member of Parliament Joe Cox and the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, as both the hitmen involved in these plots have been traced to the same British military mental hospital. According to this report, on the 16th of June, British Labour MP Joe Cox was assassinated by Thomas Mair in Berkhamsted, West Yorkshire, United Kingdom, and a little more than 48 hours later, on the 18th of June, Michael Sanford attempted to assassinate US presidential candidate Donald Trump in Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. Important to note about the political environment both of these assassination plots were operating within. This report continues was that in MP Cox's death, the debate ahead of this week's Brexit vote in the UK was able to be stalled, while in the US, the candidacy of Donald Trump for president has sent chills throughout the entire American elite governing system. The SVR's interest in both Mair and Sanford, this report explains, was elevated last year to a high level due to their interaction with a Central Intelligence Agency (CIA) clandestine services operative named Lawrence Sanchez, whose Federation surveillance records showed him taking a US Air Force flight from McGuire Field at Joint Base McGuire-Dix Lakehurst, New Jersey, to RAF Lakenheath, United Kingdom in April of 2015. Though US public records state CIA operative Sanchez retrieved from his spy agency in 2004, this report notes CVR records showed him continuing to work for the CIA as late as 2012, when he was dismissed from his oversight of spying operations for the New York City Police Department, where he had set up the United States' most successful counterintelligence units combating Islamic-inspired terrorism. From 2012 to the present, this report continues, CIA operative Sanchez has worked within the 87th Medical Group at Joint Base McGuire-Dix Lakehurst on projects involving various US Air Force by environmental engineering projects, and when he traveled to Britain in early 2015, it was in that capacity. SVR analysis were believing he did so. However, this report explains once arriving in Britain, CIA operative Sanchez travelled to Lincolnshire, England, accompanied by Secret Intelligence Services MI6 operatives, where he entered a hospital facility known as the Lincolnshire Partnership. The Lincolnshire Partnership Hospital, this report states, has long been known to the SVR as it is the British military's and intelligence services main facility for treating severely mentally impaired soldiers and spies, and operates under the supervision of the Defence Medical Services (DMS). And in a patient record count during the time of CIA operative Sanchez's April 2015 visit there, this report says both Thomas Mair and Michael Sanford were listed as high security patients, but and most strangely, Sanford was released into the custody of CIA operative Sanchez and was flown back to the Joint Base McGuire-Dix Lakehurst and put under the medical supervision of the 87th Medical Group. As neither Thomas Mayer or Michael Sanford were previously known to the SVR, this report continues. Their names were electronically associated with CIA operative Sanchez, and whose SVR computer file noted an alert on the 16th of June when Thomas Mayer assassinated MP Joe Cox. Once this 16th of June alert on CIA operative Sanchez was analysed by the SVR, this report says an already established protocol was enacted to notify various British and American intelligence agencies requesting guidance and assistance, and that SVR analysis is this report credited with saving the life of Donald Trump. To view the full transcript, go to my website endtimes23.com, where I posted the link. There's a live link to my website near the end of this video. This is a Voice of the People statement. In the run-up to the referendum vote to should the UK remain or leave the EU, one of the most respected members of Parliament at Westminster, Labour MP Joe Cox, was gunned down and stabbed. Evidence is now coming to light that this terrible murder could well have been a false flag killing ordered by the elite. In the closing stages of this EU referendum campaign, the Leave side was gathering support, and 3 opinion polls put the Leave side on a 7, 6 and 7 lead. The Voice of the People believes the killing of this Remain MP was ordered by the global elite to sway the votes in their favour, even going so far as to blame the Leave side and the extreme right wing for this terrible crime, which there is not one bit of evidence in support of these allegations. The Voice of the People believes the killer of MP Joe Cox was implanted with an RFID chip by the security services, the CIA and MI6, which gave the security services complete control over the killer Thomas Mayer. They gave a gun to him and activated him to take out this MP. This was a false flag event killing. In fact, one of the witnesses to this murder has disappeared. He had a rucksack on his back but has completely vanished. I believe and allege this witness was an MI6 or CIA operative controlling Mayer. The evil global elite who ordered this MP to be taken out should be exposed and brought to justice. The Voice of the People. Okay, my friends, you're all invited to join this channel by subscribing to End Times 23, which is a totally free subscription service. You're also invited to add me as a friend on Facebook and follow me on Twitter and join my Google Plus timeline. All this month's news links can be found on my website endtimes23.com. There's a live link near the end of this video. Well, that's your lot for this month's Informer News special report. Until next month, at the same time, this is your Informer signing off. Friends, I'll see you on the flip side. This is Informer News, your voice of the people. Welcome along, my friends, to another edition of the Informer News monthly special report. Coming up in this month's broadcast, Planet X Nibiru and the coming apocalypse, a bizarre apocalyptic scenario. Autistic religion and Menachem are autistic and cannot communicate through normal means. They rely on a controversial technique known as facilitated communications, in which the autistic person is given an alphabet board or a computer keyboard to spell out words. Facilitated communications has been in use since at least 1985 as a way of communicating with those who cannot speak normally. Proponents of the technique claim that people with debilitating autism or severe mental retardation actually can communicate if given physical support to type on an alphabet board or keyboard. The Autism National News special reports. This first report originates from BreakingIsraelNews.com, titled The Planet Nibiru and the Apocalypse by Riha Lambert Alder, and this was posted on January the 18th, 2016. A bizarre apocalyptic scenario that originated decades ago is being raised again by autistic religious Jews in Israel who reportedly communicate spiritual messages from facilitated communication. Every aspect of this story is shrouded in controversy. The original theory of Nibiru. Zachariah Sitchkin, 1920 to 2010, was a Russian-born Jewish scientist and author. Jews' spiritual communications warn about the coming Nibiru event and the destruction this massive object will rain down upon Earth. Plus more warnings that Nibiru is real and heading our way. Also, university astrophysicists warns past Earth extinctions were caused by the Planet X Nibiru. And the murder of well-respected Member of Parliament Jo Cox. Was she the victim of a false flag killing? Days before the UK went to the polls to decide if to vote to remain or leave the EU. Did the global elitists order the killing? Evidence suggests just that. Okay, into this month's Inform, who suggested that there is a planet beyond Pluto called Nibiru, sometimes referred to as Planet X, which passes through our solar system every 3,600 years. Approximately 50 years ago, Sitchin determined that Nibiru was about 50 years away from coming close again. According to the theory, its anticipated reappearance is expected to result in extensive damage to Earth's land masses and death to millions. Facilitated communications controversy. The theory of celestial body called Nibiru headed towards Earth recently reappeared in the communications of 3 Orthodox Jewish men in Jerusalem. Daniel Benjamin